Hey, hey guys. So this one's gonna be pretty informal. Um, no whiteboard today. I'd rather talk about sort of my life journey. Hopefully, by me sharing it, some of you guys can gain some insight as to how to push forward, even though it seems like you're probably drastically behind at certain points. You have no idea what the fuck you're doing, and you feel like everything you've done up until this point might be a lie. All right? Same thing as me, right? I've been there before. I'm a couple years older than hopefully some of the younger guys. So I would really love it if this channel could be like a beacon of light for them, so they don't have to go and do things they don't want to do. So I guess to get started, I'm going to start off with high school. So this is going to just be work related. I'm not going to talk about like personality and other things like that. But when I was very young, I was always gifted in the maths and the sciences. Grammar, not so much, as you guys can probably tell by the amount of times I say fuck every video. English also is not my favorite language, and I don't really care about speaking in the ways that people want me to speak. I'm just going to do whatever feels right. And to me, living my life as if I was a pirate is the most fun, and I get the most out of it. So that's what I'm going to do, being the human Joker. But, all right, high school. Senior year, before I went off to school, I remember asking my mom. She owns her own company. And I was like, what do I have to major in to take over your business? She looked me in the face and she said, you're not smart enough. Now, to a lot of people, they might take that as like a challenge. I took that as just disrespect. And I took it as a challenge. Because at that point, senior year, it was already pretty much released. It was out. You know, the class rankings, ACTs, stuff like that. So I had a 35 on the ACT. I was number 3 in a class of 600. And I wasn't good enough. Nowhere close. I wasn't even close to being good enough. She said, you're not smart. You think you are, but you're not. Kids these days have it too easy. Go forge your own fucking path, loser. That's the sort of vibe that I got, which today, looking back, I'm incredibly grateful for. Because I think she didn't want to tell me at the time that she was doing that so I would actually find my own passion in life, because genuinely, I don't even think that she likes her own job. She likes it because she built it, but it's like inventory management type says it's very boring type shit, right? So like mother like son, I went off to school and I was like, all right, I need to prove to her that I'm smart. So I started bio pre-med. This lasted all of 1 week, which that's sad. That's impressive, actually. But what happened was, it wasn't even the reading. It wasn't really the classwork. We went to a cadaver lab because the university I was at was right next to a hospital. So on the bottom floor of this hospital, they had some of the recently deceased individuals. And we went there within the first week. This was sort of gen ed, regular bio class. And the professor was in the higher up bio pre-med track. So she wanted to see, like, hey, who are the ones that are going to stand out in this first batch? Because when you first get to college and you sit in those giant lecture halls, you might have that asshole professor that comes in and lays down the truth very early on and says, look to your left, look to your right, half of them won't be here. Okay? That's the truth. A lot of people, they're not supposed to be there. It's not their dream. And for me, it wasn't my dream. I just wanted a bunch of money. I thought it'd be cool to be a doctor. I wanted to be McSteamy or McDreamy. Grey's Anatomy was the tits, boys. Right? Isn't that the dream? Isn't that the dream? And this was back in the day when I was a degenerate too. I was watching porn. I knew what women wanted to watch. You know what they like to watch? They like vampires, pirates, billionaires, doctors, and villains. Well, I can't be a pirate. I can try my hardest to be a vampire. A billionaire is just somebody that has money, right? So you have to have a job to get there first. So it seemed like, okay, I'll go with doctor. Didn't work out. So eventually I switched over to accounting. And then while I was in accounting, I had a nice little internship. And that's kind of when I got the first glimmer of like, okay, I could do this. I could do this. I could do really well at this. I went off, interned for about 8 months straight. They extended it. It was supposed to be for just the second half of my junior semester, and then they kept me on for the summer. So, and it was great. It was a good experience. And the reason it was a good experience was I was getting paid hourly because I was an intern. So if you know how tax season works, typical job, you work 40 hours a week. Tax season hits, you kind of have to get everything done by the 4/15 deadline other than extensions, and then you can do like tax estimates and shit later on throughout the year. However, that first 3 months of the year, I mean, January 15th through April 15th is fucking insane, the hours. So I was cranking 100-hour weeks and getting paid overtime on everything above 40. So I was raking in dough at 20 to 20. I think I was 21, maybe. It was either 20 or 21 because it was junior in college. So that kind of got me hooked a little bit on the whole tax thing. And then once I graduated, I got a job doing taxes. Same thing. I started, it was a 40-hour work week. 2 weeks later, tax season hit. Hours jumped. It wasn't as bad as the initial intern firm I was at. It was a much larger tax firm. So it was more mandatory to do like the 100 hours type thing. This place was more like 80. But even then, if you wanted to like really outwork everyone else and rise to the top, you should work more. So most of the time it would be between 80 to 100 hours. And that was great. Not. My issue with that is you don't notice it when you're first doing it because the money kept rolling, right? I was getting paycheck after paycheck when I was doing an internship. And it was a different dollar amount every single time because it was time and a half. But that first paycheck that hit after tax season started when I was a salaried employee and I realized I was working twice as much for the exact same, that's kind of when I realized I was like, this isn't meant for me, right? This isn't fair. This isn't equitable. I don't actually enjoy it very much. So I left that firm and I thought, okay, maybe I can get somewhere else. I could do different tax returns. Who knows? I could rise up to the partner level as quickly as possible. And I was on that track. I went to this other company and I got along with the main partner very well. Went through tax season, absolutely demolished it. And all the partners agreed. They're like, okay, we're going to fast track this kid. He's on fire. But they wanted me to get the CPA books. And they said, we'll pay you back for them once you finish the test. So I went out and I got the CPA books, just like you in the chat, man, going for your PhD. That's what killed me was the CPA for me. Because while I was studying for the CPA, that partner that I thought was friendly buddy with me, well, it turns out that his son, who was years younger than me, had just graduated school. Hey! Yo! Ajax, every video? Come on, dude. Come on, brother, man. Sorry, the guys are mowing outside, so just gonna have a little pupper barking action. No, so this kid, no tax experience. He just graduated. Nothing at all. Comes in, steals the partner fast track spot from me. And I asked the partner, I was like, what did I do to lose the spot that I had thought I earned? And he was like, oh, well, like, it's you know, it's my son. He's going to be here forever. We're going to work together. I was like, okay, so he couldn't work as like a staff accountant for a while and then get fast tracked? No, like this kid got hired and was immediately like a senior. He didn't fucking know what to do and was on top. How is that fair? How is that equitable? I was wiping this kid's fucking nose. I was doing his tax returns. And then he would take the credit. This little fucking cunt. And so that's when I just was like, I'm done. Fuck this. I'm out. I'm done with public accounting. You people are rats. Because you're backstabbers. And that was my thought at the time. So after that, I left. I went to logistics for a while. Figured out that was just as boring. If you guys didn't know, calculating accounting, depreciation, amortization schedules, and doing all the expense sheets and credit card statements and all that type shit for trucks, it's boring. It's the same shit. And so I guess the point that I want to make mid-video right now is just because you're good at something, if you think it's boring, it's probably not meant for you. You need to find something that, money aside, is difficult, but you enjoy the difficulty. You enjoy not knowing what you're going to get. You enjoy the fact that you might not be the best, but hey, there's fucking room to rise to the top. Because that's what the cream always does, baby. We rise to the top. So, fast forward a little bit. Then we get to construction. I was a cost manager for that. So I would help, do all the budgeting on homes. And at this point, I was really starting to lose it. I was kind of depressed, really anxious. I would lock myself in. I kind of lost a lot of my friends. I wasn't going out, but because I just didn't see the point anymore. It's like, it didn't matter how much money they gave me. It didn't matter how good the benefits were. It didn't matter all the different lies and shit that the corporate tells you to make you sell your dreams. Right? They tell me, oh yeah, but one day you're going to get stock options and it's going to be great. And the company will build you a house. Right? It doesn't make it worth it. It's not worth it. If it's not for you, it's not worth it. And that's what I figured out. Because the truth of the matter, guys, for me to get paid the most at that last job I was at, I had to essentially fuck over everyone else around me. And that hurt. For me to get my full bonus, all the guys in the field couldn't get theirs. The guys actually building the houses. It was fucked. But that's the game that we play. That's the game of life that we play a lot of the times with the corporate. Hey, come here. So, fucking dude, I don't want to have to redo a video because you don't know how to shut the fuck up. It's just a lawnmower, my guy. Do any of you guys have dogs? How do you deal with this? Like, it's just a lawnmower. Brother man, just relax. Okay. Alright, good. Luckily enough, I'm only like 13 minutes in, so if this thing goes to 30 minutes because my dog chews up too, that's fine. So where was I? Right, so if it's not meant for you, don't do it. If it's hard and you enjoy the hard and you enjoy the suck, then it's probably meant for you. So for brother man in the comments, I don't know your actual name, but if you're going for a PhD, the only thing I'd recommend is get a piece of paper and ask yourself, like, write down the questions. Like, what does my future life look like with this PhD? Okay? Where am I going to be in 10 years? What do I want to be doing in 10 years? Is your PhD even related to what your actual life goals are? Or is it one of those things that you kind of knew you always wanted because you're a smart individual? If you're getting a PhD, you're very smart. However, at some point, just like myself, I didn't want the CPA so I could file taxes. I wanted the CPA so I could tell people I had a CPA. It wasn't for anything else. And so I don't want anyone, especially the younger generation, to fall in a trap where they're like, oh, I want to go to school for 12 years, 16 years, especially young kids now. I wouldn't even want to go to school anymore if I was you, to be completely honest. AI in 2 years is probably going to wipe out almost all the jobs. And I think that's a tough realization that people need to wake up to. That if you're a doctor right now and you're in a medical field, there's going to be a court case that happens. I'm telling you this. This is not advice. This is the future. There will be a court case that happens where somebody will die that would have lived had there have been an AI, a robot doctor, doing the work. They're already working on these types of these machines, these robots. They're pinpoint accurate. They're precise. They can link into your biomarkers. Like, they don't make mistakes because they don't have feelings. All right? And this is happening. Same thing's going to happen for accountants probably. Who knows? Maybe down the road, even construction. That's probably going to be one of the last ones to go because you're going to have to build millions of fucking robots that can somehow read schematics and blueprints and put together a house and all work together like using a hive mind. Right? So it's scary. What's the point? What's the point of school? What's the point of going? Well, it's to try and find your passion, I guess. I don't want you to get lost in the sauce, though, at school. I don't want you to think that it's the end-all, be-all, and that degree is who you are, because it's not. Back in the day, and I think this is kind of one of the saddest tragedies of the modern education system, is the death of the polymath, which I'd highly recommend people go look up somebody like Leonardo da Vinci and just read the dude's accomplishments and accolades. He was a GOAT in everything. He was an architect, systems design type person. He was an engineer. He was a philosopher. He was a painter. He was a sculptor. He was this. He was that. He was a tinker. I mean, like, the man did everything because he didn't put himself in a box and he just chased whatever he wanted at that time. And a lot of the times what you want isn't what you want. That's the hardest truth. The hardest truth is we honestly don't fucking know what we ourselves want. We're just programmed. We are just human beings that have been programmed in a system for a very long time. And once you undo some of that programming and you start asking yourself the questions like, all right, what would bring me, my soul, the greatest amount of happiness? What do I desire the most out of my life to give back to society, to give back to humanity? Because at the end of the day, that's all we have. You don't get to take your fucking physical possessions. If you have a Lambo, you don't get that after you die. You probably get something better. But nothing that's here you get to take with you. So it really doesn't matter. What matters is your legacy. And in that regard, degrees don't matter. Plaques don't matter. All the years of education don't matter. And I'm not saying that to shit on anyone that spent a long time in school. I'm saying that so anyone that spent a long time in school that feels lost and thinks they're behind because they're like, oh, well, I wasted a decade of my life. I'm a failure now. No, you're not. Now, I'll tell you what you are. You're successful. And you want to know why you're successful? Because if you're able to do something that you hated for that many years and stick to it, imagine how fucking amazing you're going to be when you find something you actually genuinely want to do. If you can do something you don't want to do for 10 years, brother, 10 years of doing something you want to do? Come on. You're going to let it rip. You're going to make it big. You're going to change the world. Isn't that the whole point? It's what we should all be striving for. Change the world in our own way. Throughout all my jobs, the one thing I came back to was the fact that I wanted to help people. I thought I was helping people when I was doing taxes because I was saving them money. Okay? I was embezzling a lot of money. back in the day. All right, and then with logistics, it kind of felt like I was still helping people. Not really though. So that was the short-lived job. And then home construction, right? I was putting Americans in homes. I thought that was a good thing. But then after a while, it became tainted because of all the corporate bullshit and political games that you have to play. Like, that's just not what life's about. It's about doing what you want to do and sticking to your code of ethics, your morals. Everyone's got one. And don't be ashamed of it. If somebody calls you out and says, oh, yeah, you're a pussy or you're weak because you always stick to your ethics, you're a better person than that person. The only reason they're attacking you is because they're weak. Strong, good people will never put you down. They might give you some tough love, which will make you better, but they will never put you down. The people that put you down, just smile at them. Just ignore them. They don't matter, okay? They're nobody. And they will always be nobody. And it's not your job to save them. At the end of the day, no one is coming for you. No one's coming for any of you. And if you're a guy, sure as shit no one's coming for you. We don't get handouts. We don't get saved. We have to figure it out by ourselves. And that's the beauty of the game. Right? People say, oh my God, it's so rough as a guy. You have to do everything yourself. I was like, yeah, that's also the beauty of the guy. Like, you can be a complete lone wolf. You can do whatever you want. In your free time, you can go psycho mode. You can chase whatever dream you want. You have technology, right? Go figure it out. Go start a business. Go chase your dream. Just do something. But not asking yourself questions and just swallowing the pill and accepting that that's your life, that's not a good answer. That's not the way forward, guys. And, I mean, don't take my advice for it. I've only been doing this for like a fucking month, all right? Before that, I was doing my last jobs. And then finally, I just had enough. And luckily, I'm at a point in my life that I can do that. I can just say, fuck you guys, and leave. And I'm fine. But, genuinely speaking, don't stay anywhere longer than you have to if you know it's not for you. It's not going to benefit you at all. Don't be scared of what they tell you at the corporate or in the schools where they always preach that loyalty bullshit. They're like, oh my God, you need to be loyal to us. You should stay for years and years. I remember hearing it in job interviews. They're like, oh, it seems like you hop around a lot. I was like, yeah. I mean, if people treated me the way I deserve to be treated, maybe I wouldn't have to. And they're like, well, it sounds like you're a difficult person to work with. I was like, no. You guys are just not it. So, all I really wanted to say for today, guys, keep it pushing. If you don't know what you want to do, ask yourself the questions. Ask yourself, deep down, eyes closed, deep down, what would make me the happiest? What would make my soul the happiest? What would my dream life look like? When I have a family one day, do I want to have a day job? Do I want to have to go somewhere? Or would I rather spend my time with my kids? Do I want to be their coach? Envision your future and then let your job get placed by your future. We do everything backwards. We try and build ourselves up to this whole idea of like kids and marriage, when in actuality, everything else should be built around that. Like, one day when I have children, I don't want to ever have to fucking leave the house. I'm not leaving my kids. Hell no. I'm gonna homeschool those little tykes. I mean, I probably have to homeschool them. They're gonna burn down the school, knowing that they're my genes. But it's It's crazy. It's crazy. And I hope everyone just wakes up to it. We're all in a game. It is a game to the people at the top. They don't care about you. They take half your money anyway. Okay? If not more. And if you were to die on the job, they're going to replace you either way. So make sure whatever you do in your life, it's for you. It's your thing. Because if you're doing your thing, you're irreplaceable. You are valuable. That's when the wealth comes. That's when the abundance comes. That's when the happiness comes, the joy comes, the gratitude comes. All the good shit in your life stems from you chasing your own dreams. If you were chasing somebody else's dreams, you're never going to get everything you want in your life. If you're living your life to please your parents, your family, your friends, the school system, our dictators, whatever it is, stop. Slow it down and talk to yourself. Ask yourself what you truly desire. And you know what? I'm sure if you can figure that one out, you'll change a lot of things in your life and your life will get better. Life is not bad. Our perspective of it is kind of fucked up though. So, hope this helps. I probably rambled way longer than I need to, but just want to let you guys know that's kind of where I've been and what I did and why I have to do this now because I like helping people. This is fun for me. I enjoy this, and it's unique. It's like somebody could, word for word, come and take this and repost it, but it's not the same thing, right? It's my thing. Find your thing. Find your gifts. Find your talents, because the world is waiting. We are all waiting for you. So take it seriously. See you guys around.